Always, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell to be notified for future videos.
Hello and welcome back to the Fish Tank. I am Cole, and today we are joining the DIB boys once again in a Diecast Invitational Builders Ratty Cars Invitational. And this month we are taking on this late 70s Caddy. And today's plan is fairly simple. This thing's going to get taken apart, and we're going to rough it up a bit. That's the easiest way to put it. We're going to rough this car up a bit. It ain't going to look this nice and clean when we're done. So our video pretty much is just a standard video, just observing the car at first, and then we grab our drill. The rivets on this car were actually pretty easy to break apart or to have drilled out, which was really nice. The only thing I honestly had trouble with was taking the glass out. And the part that I had trouble with was the rivet was the easy part, but actually pulling out the whole mechanism of the glass was the hard part. And I didn't want to take out the dash because a lot of you know these Auto World cars, once you take out the dash, there's a good chance it's not going to go back in like it did. So anyways, now we are working on the effects portion of our car. Honestly, this whole video is a effects portion, but what I'm doing here is I'm taking a old paintbrush and I am putting citrus strip in certain places of our car, so it strips just that portion of the the car because I don't want the whole car stripped because that just requires a spray painting, and honestly, I had a general idea on how I wanted to do this and a lot of photos that were looked at. So once that was all done, this is what we got. And not only did we strip those areas, but we also did a little bit more intensive damage with our Dremel tool, and we grinded the area a little deeper and just tried to make it look more like it was sitting somewhere, and the weathering and just it's starting to decay. That was the goal, was to have it look like it was starting to decay. And I would say it's a very, very good start, but the only issue we have is it looks too nice. And we're going to change that. So as you see there, I have a small dab of brown primer. It's like one of those rust repellent paints. You've seen me use it before on different cars, but what I wanted to do today was pretty much just use it as like a weathering step, and it pretty much just darkened the paint and made it look like mud or grime. That was the overall goal, and I think it turned out great. I mean, when you look at the final thing, you really can't notice it since we put a lot of powder on it like we normally do, but just knowing that we roughed up this paint a little bit with this primer, it's just one of those little steps that just helps. So now, while we're letting that dry, we're going to move on to the interior, and we're not going to do too much with the interior today. We pretty much just grabbed our powders, and we are just muddying and dirtying up this interior as best as possible. In the moment, I didn't think I needed to do much with this interior, but thinking about it, I should have done a little bit more. But you live and you learn. That's the beautiful thing about this hobby. Once we get done dirtying it up as we like, we are going to let it sit for a while and move on to our glass insert. And now we're going to move on to our glass insert. And I wanted to go all out for this because this car was just way too nice, and the goal overall was to make this as ratty as possible. So I decided to do a little bit more than I normally do, and we did our interior and our glass. And pretty much we used the exact same powders as we did last time with our interior, and we just roughed it up. So it looks like it's been sitting in a barn for a while, and what I'm going to do after this is put this on a stand and clear both items with matte clear that you're about to see here. So the glass looks completely different, unrecognizable. It looks stained, excuse me. It looks just washed out, and it just looks like it's been sitting and it's just done. The interior looks great too, so a lot of the dust or the powder did not turn into powder, and it clumped up, and it gave it kind of a good effect.
Meanwhile, back in the fish tank.
So while we're letting our interior and our glass dry, and to be completely honest, it doesn't take that long, we're going to move back to our body. And what I'm doing here is doing what I normally do. I'm taking a black, excuse me, spray paint. It's a bit thinner, but honestly I did that on purpose just for the effect. And I'm going to outline my trunk and one of my doors just to look like the parts were replaced or that they just got a little bit more worn than the rest of the car. And this is just something I like to do just to offset it and make it look different. A lot of people, they like to just do the whole worn out effect and they just keep it all the same, which is completely fine. I'm not judging it. I do it all the time too. It's just I like to do a couple things a bit different, and this is just one of those things I'd like to do. So if you're going to do this, make sure you just follow your lines, make sure that you're following the body lines properly, try to eliminate bleed, and yeah, make sure it dries properly, because I got very impatient and didn't let it dry and it was still tacky and it just, things did not work in my favor. But in the end, we made it work and it looked good. We also did one of the headlights in black, and we also did one of the fiberglass pieces on the driver's side in black as well, just to look like parts were changed and replaced. So when we let that dry, it was probably 2 days, honestly, it took to dry. We are going to move on to our powders. So we're starting with more of a mud powder, just to make it look like it was sitting around in a field and just giving it that one effect. We used all these powders, a little bit of rust, a little bit of the black soot, and a lot of the dust and sand, because I just wanted this to look like, honestly, the goal was to make it look like it was sitting out in a field, but also look like it caught on fire at one point in time, if that makes complete sense. But I think overall we did achieve that. It just took some time. This was probably 15 minutes of footage, and this was just the important part that I thought would be necessary for you guys to see. It took me a while. It was a lot of back and forth, and then once we were done applying all of our powders and such, we clear coated it and let it properly dry. So like I said, this is how our body turned out. It looks like it's been sitting for a while. It's dirty, it's rusty, but also it looks like it could have easily been on fire. And that was the kind of the goal I had for this build. Alright guys, let's go see what we started with. If you guys remember, this is the Cadillac, or the Caddy, that we started with. It was brand new, right out of the package, and today I wanted to do the complete opposite for my DIBS build, and I think we did achieve that. Guys, let's go see what we finished it with, and let's go see if it's ready enough for this invitational. And here is our final result, or the 70s Caddy for the Rough and Ratty Vehicles Invitational with the DIB Boys. So as you guys know, this whole video is pretty much just effects, and I think we achieved it 100%. And the car looks great. Honestly, I think it looks better than it did. It was a little too nice for my liking. And what do you guys think? Honest opinions. Would love to hear your comments down below. Thank you for stopping by the fish tank as always, guys. And guys, make sure to go check out everyone who took part in this DIBS special for this month. We are doing another invitational at the end of the month for Halloween, but this is just our monthly one at the beginning of the month as always. Guys, thank you for stopping by the fish tank. Thank you for everything. I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Hey guys, it is me one more time. Before we go, I wanted just to let everybody know that Ron and everyone at the DIBS team has put together our 2025 monthly invitation calendar. These are the builds that will be going on next year, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up because I know a lot of you like to prepare, just like myself, even if it is 3 days before it's due. But luckily, we did this one in time. Anyways, I just wanted to give you guys this opportunity to look at all the builds, and I hope you guys take part because not just me, but everyone on the team takes a lot of time to not only do these flyers, but to put all these builds together each and every month. So